I don't agree with Mr. Farage. I've said that a few times in the past, I know. Um, but his analysis of the election of Rishi Sunak is extremely negative. His main point, I think, is that Rishi is not somebody who is clubbable, that he's not likely to have a pint with the boys. That's perfectly reasonable. Farage points out that he has nothing against a teetotaler, and then says, but he can't imagine Rishi Sunak talking to people in working men's clubs, and then says the red wall is shattered. I think actually it's not talking to people in working men's clubs which is needed, though actually I think at the same time Mr. Farage underestimates the talents of Rishi Sunak. I think what's needed at the moment is indeed the stability which he thinks is dull. He thinks the stability that we've got at the moment is going to hurt people who are self-employed. I'm self-employed. And it's going to hurt people with mortgages. I have a mortgage as well. I must say I was a little staggered by the way my mortgage rose week after week under Liz Truss. I got all these letters from the mortgage provider, one after the other, telling me my mortgage was going up. Disappointing. And what I would like to see is that we achieve what we say we're going to do. So if we say we're going to give support to Ukraine, then we have to be in a position to do so. And if we are weak and hopeless financially, then we're in no position to help anybody. I think Rishi, as our Prime Minister, sends a signal that this is a diverse and tolerant society, and this is a way forward for the rest of the world. I think that's an interesting and a positive signal to be sending immediately, and one that really Mr. Farage should have picked up on. Instead, he picks up on the idea that that 80 people arrived over the channel last night, and 60 of them have been rounded up, and 20 are still on the run, and one of them had invaded somebody's house and asked for money so he could get to Birmingham. I'd love to know how Farage gets all this information, but let's assume that it's true. Let's assume it's true. The only way to tackle the immigration problem is to start with the paperwork. And I think Rishi Sunak is the one person in government who understands that bureaucracy has a place in our lives. If you can't do the bureaucracy, close the book. So if we want to tackle immigration, if we want to bring down the numbers, we need to know who is and who is not illegal, which means we need to clear that backlog of paperwork, of applications, which goes back to 2009. Some people say 2007, which would be even more appalling. If we don't have civil servants capable of doing the job in the Home Office, then we have to move people from other offices. Because apparently, according to Rees-Mogg, who, hooray, hooray, has gone, according to Rees-Mogg, the civil service isn't doing its job and needs to be trimmed down. No! The civil service simply needs to be moved from those places where it's not doing what it should be doing to places where it's badly needed. We cannot have a backlog of applications, of asylum applications, which is going on for years. That's the stuff of Charles Dickens. It makes a nonsense of any claim that anybody could say that somebody is legal or not legal. We can't have a Rwanda policy or anything as ridiculous as that without knowing who is and who is not illegal. Somebody is not illegal because we decide that they've come here on the wrong transport or the wrong route. That's not the agreement we signed up to in 1951. Either we change that agreement or we do the work. And I think from the statement that Mr. Sunak made this morning, he is more inclined to do the work and to lead from the front. I cannot imagine that Rishi Sunak is somebody who will simply be reading summaries.